take care of you. Take care of you. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you.
Hello everybody, how are you guys? Hope you guys can hear me loud and well. Do let me know in chat if you guys are hearing me clearly. I am trying a new setup in our brand new studio, so definitely let me know if things are lagging out or things are sounding good, because I really want to make sure that the quality of this video is as good as possible for you. So if you're new here, we're doing our weekly Friday live stream. It is a chance where we come together to build something really awesome, really cool in a tool that we love. In this case, we're doing Notion. As you guys all very well know, if you've been following me for a long time, Notion is my tool of choice when I go and try to build any systems that help me with my productivity, my organization, and just generally how to make life better. So today what we're going to be talking about is how do you navigate around your system? How do you create a custom navigation bar that helps you get from point A to point B, especially when you're dealing with a very complicated system, right? A system that's managing your life has to be sufficiently complicated because, well, let's be honest, your life is complex, right? Our lives are a very big amalgamation of all our past experiences, plus all the things that we're learning currently, plus all the things that we want to do. And if you want to build a system that actively helps us manage all of these things as like a second brain, then there's obviously going to be some level of complexity inside the system. This is the example of what we have inside our toolbox templates, right? There's a lot of things that we try to provide in terms of dealing with habit management, habit formation, success planning, all these different things. And how can we effectively give you a navigation structure that's going to help you get from point A in the system to point B to point C? So today I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to build that for one of our templates here in the toolbox, and hopefully you can follow along if you ever wanted to make your own workspace cleaner, easier to manage, or if you are someone that wants to build a better template for your team members at work, for your family, whoever it might be, this is the video for you to watch. So let's get started and let's have some fun. So today, as we mentioned, we're talking about how to make a custom navigation bar in Notion. And usually before I start any build, I like to go into the why, what, and how. So it's very, very clear exactly how we're going to go about approaching the problem. What is a problem even at all? And why do we want to solve that problem? Why behind the motivation rather behind this whole project. So the why here is simple, right? So we can say users of the system inside our toolbox are finding it difficult to navigate the entire system. There's a lot to find, lot to follow. What exactly do I start first? And where do I start? What? Well, we need a custom sidebar that helps users of our system, including yourself, right? Even if you're thinking about, hey, I have a system of my own. How do I get around the most effectively? This video will teach you exactly how to make a really nice navbar for you to follow along and use the system as you want to. And of course, see everything you need to access in one place, and also can be easily navigated too. So the how we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about two hows. One is custom sidebar sections, obviously, but in the custom sidebar sections, I'm going to break them up and talk about different pieces. In our case, we have a few components of our system where there's a tutorial section, there's a level up your skill section, and then there's a dashboards and system components, and there's many, many more. These are just some of the initial ones we're going to go through just to give you a taste if I am disconnecting and reconnecting as well, because I do think there's a bit of a lag, especially as I'm using Wi-Fi and Ethernet at the same time. But yes, okay, so let's go ahead and see how we can get this done. We're going to go ahead and open our system. You can see this sidebar is already very, very messy, but we're going to make this really much better. Where we're going to make it better is inside the Systems for a Better Life, and we're going to show you exactly how we can make this as clean as possible. So one thing we're going to do right now is we're going to make sure we're focusing only on this. So I'm going to actually favorite this so I can see at the very top of my bar, and I know exactly what I'm trying to improve here, okay? So the first thing I want to improve, and especially if I'm going to expand this whole thing so we can see it better, the first thing we're trying to improve here is how can we make it so that there are sectionings right under the first page that everybody sees? How can we make sure that it's really easy for everyone to get around? Because we have this whole welcome thing, right? Which is, I think, great and all. And we have this whole get started thing. But what's important for us right now is to make sure that when I click on something, I can follow the breadcrumbs. And if you don't know what breadcrumbs are, basically is that if I have a page here, let's say, and I'm going to unlock this page for now, just for us to edit this, right? And I make a page here, let's say this is a example sub page, right? So I would want to make sure that I can be able to get connected into here, right? So that it's in the sub page of the master page, which is just Systems for a Better Life. So we can see right now that all we see is a get started thing, which is very non-intuitive for someone who perhaps is brand new to Notion and wants to really just know how to get around first and foremost. So right now, let's talk about the main sectioning that we want. And when I usually plan, I do like to just have a page here and start planning, where we're going to have something like the tutorial island section, right, for tutorials, the enchanted forest, the dashboards, the system components, and all that. So let's go ahead and build these components first. And we're going to eventually revamp everything that we have here. So we're just going to move this section down here. We're going to make this really clear. I think changelog we can also delete early on, or we can revamp it later. That's fine. So we have example subpage. We don't really want that. We don't rename this. This is going to be the tutorial island, and we're out emojis later on for sure. I'm also going to hide all these things, so you don't have to worry about these things, and you can only see these systems right here. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's say we have tutorial island here. We're also going to add a few other pages, and the hack here I'm going to show you is I'm just going to type a few things and I can turn them on the pages really, really quickly. So for example, enchanted forest is going to be the more enhanced version. You're going to see more systems that you can learn from. We can see dashboards, right? If you want to find all your dashboards in one place, this is probably the place you're going to find that. And then we're going to have system components as well. And these are going to be our top level pages. And later on, we'll also add more pages, of course. So you see the moment I said turn to page, right? This ended up having a few pages on the sidebar here. So it's already getting much, much cleaner depending on how we want to see it. Of course, we still have this stuff here, which I'm going to move into a page called Legacy for a second. I'll make a new page called Legacy. And this will basically give us a staging area for us to move everything out later on. So I'm just moving Legacy into there. And then I'm probably going to move Legacy into here, or this into here as well as the, I think in the admin panel I can keep here. Admin panel is just for myself to clean up the system if I ever need to be able to move around. So that's super, super important. So let's go ahead and continue where we need to go. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have our tutorial island system very well set up. So in here, I'm also going to do some subpages, right? And if we look at what the tutorial island is currently, so I'm going to open a new tab for this. and I'm going to show you what the tutorial island is currently. I think that's going to be in legacy. Get started. I am a brand new player, right? And get started tutorial island. So we have this whole thing, right? Start the tutorial island, and I think this page specifically should be moved over to our tutorial island page. So let's do that. So right now we see onboarding materials. Start the tutorial island is where we want to move that page. So again, I'm going to open this. I see tutorial island here. There's no pages inside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this into the Systems for a Better Life. This becomes right here, and then I'm just going to call this one tutorial island, just like this. Oh, I'm going to unlock the page as well, so that now we have tutorial island here, and we can delete this empty page here. And just because I have some extra information or extra pages I can repurpose, that's why I can do this. If you don't, then just build a new page for yourself, just a landing page, right? The idea is that you have your parent level system landing pages for your sub pages, landing pages for that, and then we're going to go deeper into it. So let's see how that one works. So we have tutorial island here, right? And what we want to do is within the tutorial island, we want to go and go deeper. So if we want to go deeper, how can we do it? Well, I have this whole thing here where you can get started and jump into a next page, which is designing your character. And if you actually see the whole Kanban board view of what we did before, the issue of using a board view for putting components inside is that it's very hard for anybody to find this information just from the sidebar. So for example, I'm in onboarding materials. Let's say I favorite this page just to show you, and I put a downstream. I don't see any the tutorial island. I only see a board view. I don't see any of the items inside there, which is going to be the really important stuff that I need to know. So this is why it's not effective all the time to use a board view or a database in general for putting information on your pages. You might actually just want to use a direct page. So today we're actually going to explore exactly how, if I want to still have like a really nice section, for example, for being able to pick out of a selection and then go ahead and move on forward with that, how can that still be within this page? I think that's very, very, very important. So the first thing I want to do is I have seen that there is this section, tutorial island, that has a section for designing your character, which I want to put inside the sidebar. So I'm going to open this up, tutorial island. There is a choose your avatar, right? That's fine. But what I want to do is I want to have this below the choose your avatar. So let's see if I put it into this page. There we go. Designing your avatar, designing your character is the next step here, right? So let's see how it shows up. So right now it will show up here. That may not be the best way I want to see it. We can think about it a little bit. But something that we can do is we can hide this inside this page so that it doesn't have to be so visible. So for example, if I make a toggle here and I say, this is the selection, let's call this just a folder or subpages. I'll call it subpages right here. And if I have subpages right here, I can just put this inside designing your character, just like that. I'm going to make that into a subpage. I might even make this a gray background just for myself to know that this is another section that I may have to hide later. But what we do now is, we have designing your character is going to be right here. We're also going to keep throwing stuff in. So let's keep throwing stuff in by going back. Completing your first project is going to be here. So there could also be something to be said about having first quest, second quest, third quest, fourth quest, putting that up on the bar here as well. So I think that's actually something we're going to do here. Let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have choose your avatar is fine as a step, right? But then what we're going to do is we're going to add another page here. So we're going to have a page. We're going to call this first quest. And then we're going to put designing your character in there. So you can see that first quest has another sub page, right? And then we can now go back to the tutorial island and then throw those things in there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have first quest. So now we have completing your first quest. It's like that. One thing I'm going to do now then is I'm going to add second quest. third quest, fourth quest, fifth quest, and let's see how many quests we have. And then defeat your first dragon. And defeat your first dragon. So that's going to be where we're going to put everything. Again, like before, we're going to click these 6 dots, turn into a page, just like that. And then now we have an easy way for us to have this now be able to slot in. So second quest we can throw in now. So pick your path, ranger. So now we have our class selection here. So we might want to put a class selection in here as well. So within here we have a class specific quest. So we want to hide this just a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean when we get there. So I'm going to just drag all 3 of these into the class specific quest, and then we're going to have completing your second project as a third one. So you can see that there is a lot there already for you to appreciate, right? To follow through, and it's already getting a lot clearer. So let's keep going. Let's put the third quest stuff inside. Oops, I did that wrong. Right here, third quest stuff inside. Fourth quest right here, so you can see it's there. Fifth quest into here, and then now finally defeat your first dragon is into here. So let's show you kind of what happened here. Okay, so I'm going to expand all of these things because I think it's important. But let's say I was in Tutorial Island, right? And let's relock this page so that it's a bit easier to navigate. And then let's say I'm going ahead and following through. So let's say I believe I'm a creative and I'm going to follow along, get started. You can see I jump directly into designing your first character, which is inside your first quest. And what we can do now also in these kind of pages, which makes it really nice, is I can even add a breadcrumb. So let's add a breadcrumb right here. So you can see a breadcrumb of like, hey, I'm in the tutorial island doing our first quest, which is designing your character, which makes it really easy for anyone to follow along and know exactly where they are at all times. So this makes it super easy. So let's do that. So let's make another div down here. So this section will basically make it super easy for anyone to get around and find out where they are. So I really like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this across all the pages. So every page should have this as well. So let's go ahead and paste that. I wonder what happens if I do paste and sync. Ah, this is really cool. Okay, so this does work. So I'm going to unsync it for a second because I want to make this into a proper page, meaning that I'm going to go into the back end of the system. All right, I'm going to skip onboarding for a second and get into the end, because what I really want to show you guys is how you can make the use of even things like synced blocks to get around your system really well. So let's go ahead and do I think it was onboarding tools. No, this is not it. I want to get the onboarding materials. Sync blocks, there we go. So sync blocks, I'm going to have a section here. I'm going to rebuild this whole thing, it's okay. So I'm going to have a page for legacy, and then I'm going to clean up everything by putting it inside here. So let's do that. And then I'm going to throw this in as well. And now we have a nice clean page for us to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a breadcrumbs section, okay? And I think what we're going to do is make them all toggles. And in this breadcrumb section, I'm just going to paste this, and this becomes now the master. So I'm going to copy this, right? And in the breadcrumb section, I'm basically going to go into every single page, paste it in there, paste and sync. And now this is the original. And then I'm going to just unsync all, delete this. So I can see that this is now a synced block. Oh no, if you make a sync block, then it doesn't, it only shows you the flow of the other page. Okay, unfortunate. Never mind. This one can't be a sync block. I thought there could be a possibility, but it's fine because it's not. And then I'm just going to unsync, and this becomes the page for this. So that's fine. I'm going to copy this over to every one of the other pages. So this is there. Pick your path is here as well. So we're going to have this page where you can pick your path. I'm going to unlock this and put this as well. So now you know that you're in your second quest. So that's really good. We're also going to just keep pasting it into here. So we have completing your second project, just like so. Class, what we're going to do is we're going to have essentially a default background. And let's say, hey, remember, if you ever want to take a break, remember to save your useful reminder. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in every single page, okay? So I don't expect anybody to get slow down here, but I think maybe if someone will slow down here, we want to remind them to save their progress. And actually, I think the saving your progress can happen inside the mission log as well. So I think that's fine. We'll do that later. But it's good to show that there's a synced block there that we can use, which is super, super important. So let's go ahead and keep adding this section here for breadcrumbs. So let's go ahead and add that section to everywhere. So we can go here. Completing your second project is important here as well. Oops, I already we can do this. Oops. Okay, let's throw this into here. Completing your third project, spending your gold, so let's put this here as well. Completing your fourth project, so let's do this here. Fifth quest, we're gonna throw this in here. Let's do this now, and then create your own dashboard. There we go. So everything's very clean now, right? We have our first dragon, we have fifth quest, everything. And so what I want to show you, right? So let's just go through the checklist first, right? So we have quality of life features. Let's simplify this to that. And then we can have add emojis, but now we can also do breadcrumbs for each tutorial section. For each tutorial quest, have a save your progress reminder. So that's something we're going to add now as well. We've added breadcrumbs, so that's really nice. We're kind of done with tutorial island, but what we want to do now, what I want to show you a little bit, is having the emojis align. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to add an emoji here that's going to be for this page. Let's add an icon. And this emoji, I'm going to upload an image of our own, and it's going to be one of our images that we use for the family connection, or in this case for the tutorial island. Let's go ahead and use that image. I'm going to find that image in some place, I'm sure. Find resources, media kit. That's fine. I don't think it's some logos. I'm trying to find that. Give me a second, guys. It should be in active projects. It should be in one of these things. Let's see. It's inside our tutorial island. Here. Okay. It's a dragon. So let's go ahead and put this in. It is seeming like that my connection is dropping in and out a little bit. So just do let me know whenever I drop out, and I can see how I can fix that. Yeah. But as an example here, I think it's finished uploading. No, it's not. So I need to upload one more time. Let's do that. Let's do this one. I think this one is more an icon. Perfect. So now we have an icon for tutorial island, and ideally every single quest downstream from this has the same icon, so that it becomes very, very obvious which section we are in, even if that section isn't open yet in terms of the sidebar. So I'm going to keep just throwing all of these in icon. I'm going to upload this image, just keep throwing them in. I think I put the wrong one in, whoops. But I can just keep throwing this image in, this icon. Similarly, but you can see, like, for example, then the moment I click, even if I didn't have this all expanded, right? The moment I click into here and then I click into a page, for example, I'll see that this icon is within this flow of this tutorial island so I know exactly where I am with all of this. And I think that's very, very, very important. So I'm going to add the icons to a few pages just to give you guys a taste. And of course, I'll do the rest on my own just to show you guys exactly, you know, how we're planning out to make this really, really good. Another thing for us to note is like, well, now that I get to a page, for example, and I want to do a mission, how does this work, right? Will this essentially lose the context for us? So for us here, we're basically seeing that we're able to go ahead and have a lot of this, and then go back to designing your character. Let's open this up, and then let's go ahead and throw this in and paste in sync. You can, as I remember, you can save your progress. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to do something like that as well. And make sure that that tutorial section is really clean. So again, that makes it really simple for us to get into the tutorial section. And of course, we're going to think about, at the end of this stream, we're going to think about how to connect them really easily to go straight into the tutorial section and not get lost. Because I think that's something that is very important, is that it's very easy to get lost in certain pages if I just jump into it and see that there's a lot of things to click. I want to make sure that there's a one-click experience for everybody. So let's go ahead and continue. So for example, the Enchanted Forest is another section that I really like, that I want to share with anybody who's using the system. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just skip onboarding. So let's go ahead and skip onboarding and get straight into this section here for the Enchanted Forest. And I'm going to grab this and then drop it into that section there. So Enchanted Forest is here. Or actually, should the whole Brighthaven page be there? I think so. I think so. So I think this, actually no, this should just be an Enchanted Forest. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in there. And then the Enchanted Forest, we have this picture here. And from there we can basically throw it in. There we go, Enchanted Forest. So let's see if that loads well. Oops, I loaded too early. Let's add one more time. Let's do forest. There we go. And now we have a forest icon, and of course we can make a proper icon for it later. I just want to show you guys. And this will essentially show you like what you will unlock when I come here. So let's see here, we have a world map, and there's a smart filter here. So the world map basically will give you an idea of like, hey, where can you go from here? So I think for the world map, I can add a emoji for sure. So this emoji will also be the same emoji for the Enchanted Forest. Again, we'll decide on what emoji fits best for that as well later on. I believe we did have an emoji. I'm just curious if we did. We don't. Okay, that's fine. So what we can do is just remove this for now until we have, or just add the Enchanted Forest one for now until we have a better one. I just want to show you guys the whole process here and really just hammer down on exactly what we're doing here. All right, so the Enchanted Forest is now clean there as well. Another thing I wanted to make sure is that the dashboard components make sense. So I'm going to then also go back into the end outcome. So I'm going to jump ahead and skip ahead and all that, and find where my normal places I keep my dashboards. So we normally keep everything in a place called backend and views, which is now what we're going to change. Instead of having a backend and views section, we're actually going to now split them up into like, here are all the dashboards, and so you don't need to worry so much about exactly how to use them and everything like that. Like if I want to just jump in the system and start using a dashboard, I can do that. That's important for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag these dashboards into the dashboard section. Okay, just like that. Same thing for the gamification dashboards. And I believe we have some other dashboards here as well. So we have Wall Street, that's going to be a dashboard. And then we can also have a Writers Guild, that's also a dashboard. These are just all the different systems that we have. And then now inside this dashboard, we can see that there's a bunch of stuff that you can find, right? And what we're going to do is make sure that they are very well defined. So what we have here is, I'm going to make this a full page because I think that's important. Small text. And what we're going to do here is that we have a be intentional, just like so. We might even just make that smaller. Let's see. But we're going to drag this over, get this over to the side here. And then we have gamify your life. So we're going to have this section here as our be intentional. We can even call this one daily drivers, right? Daily drivers is going to be here. This is going to be periodic uses. Right here, periodic uses is this one, or this one. And then what we have is ad hoc uses. And we have just like this, everything else is ad hoc. And then we have a collaborative as well. Collaborative uses. And I'll explain that one later. Okay, so that's where we have a few sections for us to use and play around with. Now we have our fantasy world sections on this side. So let's go ahead and move those things there. Captain's log as well as over there. And then what we have is, again, daily driver section. So we're going to move that here, just like so. And then we're going to have a periodic uses, like here as well. And then I believe this is two versions of the same thing. So what we're going to do is just have a page there. And then I'm going to do a hack. 1, 2, drag this to the side. And then inside this page, I can just turn this into a text. I split them up into 2 columns, just like so, and have that just like that. So now I can have that really clean. And I believe this page specifically was about the, it's ad hoc. It's about creating your own kind of a fantasy. Actually, I'm just going to make this since it matches. But for this side, it's just about making a ad hoc usage as well. Perfect. So now we have this whole thing here. It's very nice. What I'm going to do now is just make sure I have everything that I want here. So I have target. I'm going to put this for the icons. This one is for a alien. So just like so. And now if I go inside the dashboards, I can see everything really nicely put here. Now I could also make other pages so that it becomes a nested page and a nested page. I actually think I like that better. So let me do that now. So again, things improve, which is great. So I'll make this a page, be intentional, make this a page, gamify your life, turn daily drivers into a page as well. So I'm going to have make life simple into there. So if I throw that, now I have daily drivers, make life simple. So it's really clear as in where it lives. Periodic uses, now we have a page for that as well. Throw that in there. Goes that. Ad hoc uses turns into a page also. And then all these get thrown into there, get thrown to be intentional. Collaborative uses, I'm just going to leave out here maybe. Let's say, okay, let's say collaborative uses, and I'm going to make this into a page, and I'm going to throw that into here. And now I'm going to do the same thing for daily drivers on this side. So page, call it daily drivers. We're going to throw this into here. Boom. Turn into page, captain's log, throw it into there. Turn into page, fantasy world, throw it into there. And then now we have a really clean space for us where we can have everything just stack on each other. It doesn't really matter. And then what we can have here now is for a page also for finance. What do we call it? It's called the finance something. I'm going to find the legacy system. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip ahead and let's just see. I want to just make sure I can see the end outcome here. So for backend and views, it will say something like grow wealth dashboards. Okay, grow wealth. Just like that. And then so grow wealth can go into here, and then creators toolkit will house this. So page creators toolkit. Just like that. And then we have a really nice page that houses everything. And of course we can add icons to it. So this becomes this icon, this becomes this icon, and so on and so forth. I'll clean those rest of them up later. But again, the same thing here is that we can very easily give everybody a breadcrumb so that they can see exactly like, hey, the Make Life Simple dashboard is intended to be a daily driver, right? So we can go ahead and show how that would look. So for example, if I go to Tutorial Island, or which for now I can actually just keep jumping ahead, just like this, right? The first quest, designing your avatar. So I can just copy and paste this into here. And now it's very clear where I am. It's going to be a daily driver, Make Life Simple. And then of course, if I do need help with this template, I can go and grab that whenever I want. But it makes it really simple for me to know exactly where I am. And if I just click back on this, I'll know like, oh, I'm in the Be Intentional section. So it makes it really cool and really easy for us to get around. I'm going to take a quick break of water. Do remember to hydrate. Okay, so there's that. And now the next thing to do is also do the system components, which I think is going to be a big headache in my opinion, because we have all these legacy things that used to help us really get around. And I really like the idea of having these having these different setup things that really make it easy for us to go around. But that's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to still make the same sections, I think, for us. So let's go ahead and make the same sections. Okay, this is Be Intentional. Interesting. Okay, I know what I need to do later on as well. I see. Okay, cool. So what we want to do later on is I want to also add like a L control. So L control. So this will give us really good clarity on exactly what we need to do here. Okay, so these are all the different dashboards. I can hide those now. Let's call this one bonus collaborative. Okay, now what we can do is in the system components, we can do the same thing, right? We're going to have Be Intentional parts of the system, gamify your life parts of the system, grow wealth, creators toolkit. Okay, and now what we're going to do is turn them into pages so they become just like so. And then now I can go ahead and drag them all properly into there as well. So system components should have pages in there now. So I'm going to refresh just because I don't see it there. System components, let's see what I find. I do find everything now. So Be Intentional, I'm just going to drag these all into there. So now if I open these up, I can see all the databases, which is really clear. The tracker databases, I can have that here as well. So let's throw that into Be Intentional. Okay, so what I want to do is one more thing. I want to do core. So page core. And then all the core ones will end up being in here. And then this is going to be auxiliary, I believe is the word I can use here. So let's go ahead and, or tracker databases. Yeah. So let's go ahead and put it into be intentional, but only in the auxiliary. Core databases, auxiliary databases. And I did not spell that one right. There we go, one L and IA. Let's go ahead back and do the system components. I'm going to move this gamification stuff into here as well. So gamify your life. I think they're all core, so there's no real distinction there. So what we can do here, if we want to have the same structure, we can still do like a core databases. And then what we can do is drag all of them in as well. So let's do that. So it becomes a really, really clean structure for us to find all our systems. Grow wealth is the same thing. So let's just go back and make sure that's there. So grow wealth, we can throw those in. So we have finance tracker, investment tracker as well. So that's in grow wealth. And then for creators toolkit, we can also have that into here as well. It's not going in there. Let's see why. I believe it's because I need to open this. Oh, interesting. It can go into everything but grow wealth. Let's move it down here first and then into there. No, so I'm going to refresh the page. And hopefully now I can throw that into that page. So system components, creators toolkit. There we go. Now it's in there. Right. So it's very clean now. I'm able to have separation if I need it. Right. So just like that. And then now all our system components are there. And now I can even go ahead and add a section to explain everything, right? Like something like this into our synced blocks. So I'm going to have another sync block here that says for the data or system components brief. And we can throw this into here and I can add that into each section here. So paste and sync. So that it becomes really easy for us to have everything very cleanly defined for everyone to see. So I'm going to also just make this a bit more clean. We have this like that. So it's a nice, information section. And maybe, just maybe, we're going to make this a large, so that it's easier for everyone to observe. Actually, no, let's just keep this into a callout because I think callouts are really powerful and it will start building a consistency within our template. So I think it should be yellow. So whenever we have something to say, we put it in yellow and then it becomes really clear for everybody. And what we can do is still delete all these so that we can have this down here. No, we should do this. And then we should put something on top. I think that is nicer. All right, cool. So that's that section there. And what we can do now is we can copy and sync and put it on every page. So we have that there. We can move on. We have this there, move on. Have this there, move on. And then that is very, very clean. Same thing for dashboards. We can do the same thing here. So if I go into a dashboard, I can go ahead and explain another section. So let's go ahead. Tutorials. Databases brief. This is for system components. And then what we can do here is we can add this here. Hi to everyone who's dropping in as well. Hello, welcome. We're just about finished making our brand new navigation section for our templates that are going to be launched very, very soon. So definitely stay tuned on that. But thank you guys for joining in and hopefully you learned something for those who have been watching throughout. So now we have the section here that's going to be talking about our dashboards brief, which is going to be inside our dashboard section, of course. And then again, same thing here. I'm going to do something similar. Okay, so what happened here is that the databases brief ended up being overwritten. So let's see where it went, actually. I'm very curious. Where's the original? The original is in synced blocks. Oh, it is here. I don't know what's going on. How come that was lagging behind? I'm not so sure. Okay, so now we have another callout section. We're going to have a div. This div is, oh, actually, let's just copy this first. So copy that, and then I'm going to throw it inside our dashboard section. So boom, paste and sync. Put a div in here. Oops. Put a div in here. Put a div above here as well. Now I can just copy and sync, put it on every page that needs it. Let's go ahead and do that. Every page that needs it. Every page, and then every page is having a save your progress reminder. And I think the last thing is make sure that all the extra pages are not confusing for users when they are going through the onboarding journey. So for example, what's going to be important here is in the tutorial island, or at least when I first start, right? There's all these 3 sections. So what can I do here? How can I hide these things so I don't need to see them? So I think what I can do here is I can add a, something like a, let's add something like a, okay, let's add a toggle for sure, and we can say, we call them like system navigation. Okay, but the whole intention is that I actually don't want people to come into here, so I may want to hide that at some point. So maybe I just make that into like gray so nobody looks into that, and then we just say div, and we can hide this. But what I really want people to do is go into something like this. So we have the section here for brand new player and all that stuff. I think that's still very, very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag that into this section, and then this get started still stays here, which is what we want. And then what we can do is have a very, very clean section here. Legacy, of course, I'll remove that in due time, but let's see what we can do to clean that up. Let's just skip on. What's happening here? There we go. Yeah, so that's there. I'm a brand new player. We can also have something for migration of data. So let's go ahead and find where that page is, because we have a lot of admin tools. So the admin tools, I think, can also move into the master page. So let's do admin tools like this. Let's move it into the master page. Let's do that. And I believe the onboarding materials here, we can eventually just move over to the page as well. So admin tools, I think synced blocks can go into here. Yeah, let's put this admin tools. This is for sync blocks is for the onboarding setup. So let's just call it that. So sync blocks for onboarding, for navigation. And then we'll have sync blocks later also for the system components. That's really cool as well, and you can stay tuned for that update. Okay, so now we have that cleaned up really well. We have system components, we have admin tools, we have everything we need on the sidebar, which again I think is really, really clean and really good. And then what we can do is just make sure everyone can find where they are. So one last thing is make sure that no matter what, no matter where, we have a section here that has a breadcrumb that helps you find exactly where you are so you don't get lost. So no matter where you are, so for example here there's a breadcrumb, for example here there's a breadcrumb as well, here there's a breadcrumb, here's a breadcrumb, breadcrumb, and then inside our admin tools, there should also be some add new players to a workspace, which is here as well. So that gets thrown into there. Perfect. So we have a lot of really cool navigation hacks now. So what's going to happen in the next while is I'm going to finish this up and hopefully push out the template by the end of today. I know it's been a long time coming and I appreciate everyone's patience for that. But I think this was really the 10x improvement we needed to make sure the system was easy to use for everybody. And most importantly, it's going to be very, very intuitive for everyone to find out, hey, this is the place where I'm going to learn about the system. This is the place where I'm going to use it within the dashboards. This is the place where I'm going to edit the system, right, through the backend and views. And hopefully that gives you a lot of confidence to go ahead and use the system as you want to and make life just a little better. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Apologies for the disconnects if you've experienced any. I will probably rewatch this to see what happened there. But definitely thank you guys for staying part of our journey and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Please take care, guys.